let's talk about one of the most common relationship questions that I get, and that is, how do I break up with or break away from a friendship that's no longer serving me? And I often wonder, why is that such a common question that I get? And I guess it's because friendships are choices, right? They're choices, someone that we bond to, that we connect to based on a shared experience, a shared value, a shared interest, whether we grew up together in the same town, in the same high school, whether we enjoy karaoke on Friday night and we met at the bar, the place that has the best wings, whether it was in a sport or an activity or music. There's some shared interest, shared history, common values that we have with this person. So realizing that that relationship no longer fits can take a long time, can be very painful, because once we've shared something that's deep and connected to us, it's hard to acknowledge that there has been a fracture that cannot be repaired. And so that is why I think it's so hard to break up with friends, because there is such a shared experience that you placed a high value on at some point. And to say that that is no longer serving you may feel difficult to say. It may even feel disingenuous. It may even feel like you were using the person, but that's not the case. It was a fit when it was a fit, and it's not a fit now. It's like you're not still trying to wear the same shoes that you wore 3 years ago, right? Sometimes your feet change. Sometimes they get old. Sometimes they don't stand up like they used to. If you used to wear a size 8 and now you wear a size 9, it doesn't serve you to keep wearing those size 8s. It's going to hurt. It's going to be uncomfortable, no matter the beauty, no matter the great memories that you have when you went places in those shoes. If they don't fit, they don't fit. And they're going to bring you pain, even though in the past they've brought you great joy. And so when you start to experience that misfit, that's how you know when it's time to change or end a friendship, a relationship. But we're focusing on friends today. So the first step is to acknowledge it. And that can be the most painful step. We don't want to let go of good things from the past, even when they don't suit us anymore. But the truth is, everybody isn't with you for a lifetime. You've heard the saying, a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Maybe that friendship was for a reason, to teach you something, to bring you something, to add something to you. Maybe it was for a season, and maybe it was for a lifetime. But that means that every relationship, every friendship isn't meant to be a lifetime. There are different seasons for everything. So the first step is to acknowledge that, dang, this doesn't fit anymore. And then the second step is to figure out a plan to take it off. If we stay in that clothing analogy, right? Are you going to just, tell the person? That's a really adult, mature way to do it. Many people can't do that. It's too painful, right? And you're not trying to hurt the other person. You're just in a different space. So one way is to just tell them. Another way is to, in honest fashion, not spend as much time with them. If they aren't a good fit anymore, that means that they don't fit with you in places and spaces that they used to. And so you don't invite them to those places. Yeah, we used to go out every Friday night, but now on some Friday nights, I do this or I do that. And so when you've changed, the relationship should change. And that can be a very obvious clue or a very subtle clue to the person. Depending on how evolved the person are, they're going to ask, like, hey, we don't spend as much time as, and you know what? Yeah, you're right. I got a lot of other things going on. And that's just not the time for me, right? But the first step is to acknowledge it for yourself. And the second step is to put a plan in action that begins to create the space that you need, namely less space and less time with that person. And then I always get the question, well, they're in my class or I see them all the time at school, feels awkward. I don't want them to be uncomfortable. I don't want to be uncomfortable. But the truth is, you're already uncomfortable. You're already having problems. And so you're going to have to, step 3, live with the discomfort. It is a process. It's not going to be easy and it's not going to be quick, unless you take the first approach, which is just out and out. Tell them. But if you share common spaces and common friends or a common environment, yeah, it may be awkward. But sometimes growing is hard and sometimes growing hurts. And so these are just a couple of steps that might help you figure out how to end that relationship, that friendship that's no longer serving you. First is to acknowledge it for yourself. The second is to make a plan. And the third is to deal with the discomfort. I'm Dr. T. Until next time.